Katie Price appears to be moving back into the Mucky Mansion that she swore she'd never return to. The former glamour model, 42, was seen shifting her belongings from her rented Surrey digs into the huge £2 million house in West Sussex she had left behind while renovations were being done. The mum of 5 and boyfriend Carl Woods, 32, were seen unloading a moving van and heading into her old digs with boxes. But despite how things look, it seems Katie isn't actually making the place her home again. A neighbor exclusively told the Mirror, "I don't think Katie is actually moving back into the house, she's just using it for storage. And anyway, it's such a mess that it would probably cost her a few $100,000 just to make the place livable again. The land is littered with fly tipping, the cesspit needs to be replaced, Terry's fire damage and the ceiling is still damaged from the flood, so Terry's damp all through the house as well." Katie has had a multitude of problems with the pricey mansion after it fell into disrepair. Here we take a look back at all the issues. Hoarding and maintenance issues. Katie has been letting cameras inside her home for years. People were left particularly shocked when her home was shown on an episode of Through the Keyhole, and piles of bags and boxes were seen strewn all over the place. She was accused of being filthy, but she insisted that she was just a hoarder. Mucky pets. On her many reality TV shows, Katie's many pets have been seen running around her home, licking spilled food up off the floor and relieving themselves wherever they felt like. In 2018, it was claimed that her house smells like a petting zoo and that Katie lets her dogs poo inside and doesn't clean it up. A source, who was said to be a former regular visitor, claimed that the inside of Katie's home was hideous because she let her animals run rampant and had a relaxed policy when it came to picking up their mess. They told The Sun, "The state of Katie's home may be under closer scrutiny now, but it's been that way for years. Dog's mess has, on occasion, been left on the floor without being cleaned up, along with used kitty litter." The source also claimed Katie's house was covered in dog hair and dirt thanks to the fact that her 5 children sit on the furniture after playing outside with the animals. They added, "Katie is of the mentality that a bit of dirt is good for you, but her home wasn't a pleasant place to be in." The green swimming pool and dilapidated grounds. In September 2019, Katie gave fans a tour of her mansion and revealed her slime-filled green swimming pool. She made a special YouTube video in the hope of clearing up rumors that her mansion had fallen into disrepair. She told the camera, "I'm going to clear up some rumors about my Mucky Mansion and house. It's ridiculous." The video showed piles of rubbish around her estate and a swimming pool filled with green slimy water. Keith Lemon had described the pool area on Through the Keyhole as a swamp. She refuted it in her video, saying her pool looked a bit better than a swamp. Broken cesspit. In July 2019, Katie made the grim discovery that a cesspit in her back garden hadn't been emptied for years. She was left retching when she was forced to pump out its contents, only to discover that she'd been inadvertently stockpiling the waste from her past husbands and partners. The gross scenes were aired on her reality show My Crazy Life, and the show's executive producer Mark Rubin described it as the ultimate metaphor for moving on. Fire damage. In September 2020, Katie was left horrified when her home caught fire. The house was unoccupied at the time while renovation work was being carried out, and firefighters had to be called to the scene. It was reported at the time that the side of the mock Tudor house appeared to go up in flames after a caretaker built a bonfire next to the side of the property. a neighbor called the fire brigade who went along to put out the blaze. A source told The Sun, Katie was horrified when she was called about the fire. Apparently the caretaker built a huge fire right next to the house, and when it went up, the side of the house was covered in flames. It was a huge fire, a neighbor called the fire brigade thinking the house was burning down. It was put out in the end, but you could see the smoke billowing across the road. Break-ins and security guards. In August last year, Katie was forced to hire security guards to patrol her home and its ground 24 hours a day following a spate of break-ins. In the July, Shed called police after 3 men were spotted on her property. She believed they were trying to break into her home, but that they were scared off by a neighbor, who told the police that when she asked the men what they were doing, they claimed they were looking for a toilet. Katie wasn't impressed by their excuse though. She said, "They would have literally just driven past the services, so it's an excuse that they're looking for a toilet. If they were looking for a toilet, they wouldn't be in the middle of my field. They're clearly doing a recce to see how they can get in." It happened just a few days after Katie discovered that intruders had entered her home and flooded her newly renovated kitchen by leaving taps running upstairs. Katie has said she believes her property was being targeted while she was away. She said in a YouTube video, "Because I had 2 break-ins about 10 days ago and they literally destroyed my house to bits. The vendetta against me, it's so personal. It's weird that 3 people have been found in my field. No one needs to be in my field, because you need to go across country to get there." Why she had to leave and said she'd never go back. Katie moved out of her Mucky Mansion and into a rented property so that renovation work could be done on it. Of course, there ended up being a lot of setbacks thanks to the break-ins and flooding. In October last year, she told the Mirror that she would never go back. She said, "I've still got the house here with the kids for the minute, but we're looking for somewhere. I've moved in with him, the kids will stay at his, but his house is the show home, it's immaculate, but mine is more like the Jungle Book." She laughed, "Mine's the Jungle Book where the kids can be as feral as they like, but his is tidy, immaculate, you would spot a bit of dust if it was there." Katie added, "The doctors from the Priory have said that my house, mentally, is a place I can't ever go back to because there's too many memories. Even just walking up the driveway drives me mad, and when I'm in I want to get out of there. I can't explain it in my head and it's just so sad what's happened to my house. It's sad because it could be such an amazing place, but no I'm done it with. I own that house but it just literally sits there until mentally I'm ready to do something with it. It's weird to know that I still own that big house, it just sits there, I sometimes forget that I've even got it." Problems with neighbors. Katie has long had problems with her neighbors, and that even continued when she moved into her rented home. People living nearby regularly complain about the piles of rubbish left in her front yard and the constant barking of her dog Blade, who they claim is left outside for most of the day. In 2018, it was reported that her neighbors were demanding she leave the village, claiming she was bringing the affluent area into disrepute. Dogging claims. While Katie was living in her rented home, it was claimed that her Mucky Mansion had turned into a bit of a dogging hotspot. It was reported her home was being overrun by sex-mad doggers looking for a place to romp. The Daily Star reported that an online swingers forum is inviting people to head to Katie's home to get their rocks off, and that people were even inviting Katie to join in on the sordid activities happening on the grounds of her home. It was said that the raunchy pairs had been meeting on the grounds since last year, but that their al fresco sex sessions were put on hold during lockdown. The Mirror has contacted Katie's representatives for comment.